silly season has well and truly started during the F1 summer break. Sebastian Vettel's gone, Alonso's jumped ship, and Oscar Piastri, doesn't want a job. So it's all a little bit bizarre. So we've got a lot to talk about in this week's Final Corner podcast, joined as always by Tom and by Nick, who are going to try and make sense of all this mess.
Try to, but
yeah.
Hello.
Hello. We won't be able to make sense of it. Spoiler alert. Let's give it a bash, though.
No. So, on the last episode, we all agreed that Sebastian Vettel wouldn't retire. And then, before we even released it, he retired. So, he's gone at the end of the season. Not really surprised, in all honesty. I don't think he's really enjoying his Aston Martin experience.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when the announcement came out, but once I digested it, it's not that big a surprise, is it? He's not being competitive through no fault of his own, to be fair. And there's just not a lot to fight for, it seems.
Yeah, we did say that he wouldn't retire last week, but in the middle of the podcast, the last episode we did say something like he'll either continue with Aston or retire. So that played out in the end.
Yeah. When I saw the announcement, I thought that's a pretty damning indictment of Aston Martin that he thinks that they're going to be scrapping for a point again next year. And he doesn't want to be a part of it. But then, out of the blue, they go and nick Fernando Alonso over the weekend, which apparently Alpine didn't know about until Aston Martin announced it.
Yeah.
Which always shows your driver's loyalty when he doesn't bother to phone you.
There seems to be a lot of that going around, doesn't there? People not knowing about the announcements.
No. So, Alonso to Aston. It seems to be contract length. Alpine only wanted to give him a year. Aston were happy to give him more than that.
Alpine came out today and said it's age-related. That's why the contract was short.
Yeah.
Alonso age a factor, apparently, as to why Alpine wouldn't do the long-term deal, according to Jonathan Noble here. So that's quite damning, isn't it?
It always seemed like a temporary fit for Alonso there until Piastri was ready.
Yeah.
But I don't really
They've lost out.
I don't really get the jump to Aston though. And it keeps you in F1, but you're not going to be fighting for podiums.
Yeah, it's all a big mess up here from Otmar, I reckon.
Yeah.
But just quickly today, he said Otmar said there does come a time when something happens physiologically to a driver and you don't have the same abilities you did when you were younger, in reference to Alonso only getting a 1 year deal, which is probably true, but Alonso's an exception to the most rules. And Alonso's signed for Aston Martin because of, and I quote, "No one in F1 today is demonstrating a greater vision and absolute commitment to winning." And that makes it feel like a really exciting opportunity to me.
Yeah. I mean, they are reasonably well placed. They've got lots of facilities coming up. They've got lots of new staff that are coming from successful teams. But it's not going to happen overnight. And it's probably not going to happen during the time that Alonso has a contract with them.
Couldn't agree more with that. I also question people's motivation at the team. Are they all a bit down in the dumps? I don't know.
I think someone, I can't remember the journalist's name now, but it might even have been an ex-driver, said it's a great deal for Aston, but a rubbish deal for Alonso.
Oh, was that Rosberg?
It sounds like it, but no, I don't think it was.
Unless they pull a car out the backside next year, I just see it as, why would Alonso just want to hang about in the midfield for another 3 years? I thought the whole point of going to Alpine was to be ready for the real change and hopefully jump to the front. And it's not happened, and I can't see Aston getting anywhere near the top three.
It's weird. Vettel's retirement is a damning indictment on Aston Martin. So is Alonso's move away from Alpine on Alpine team. Yeah, it's really strange. The whole scenario when I was in a airport security queue, which I nearly missed my flight for. Brilliant. Thanks, Dusseldorf. And I saw the tweet, and I just didn't believe it. I thought it was a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now there's a load of memes about Piastri, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Alpine's replacement, the one that Otmar has been hinting in all the interviews he wants over Alonso, Oscar Piastri, who Alpine have funded and coached through the junior ranks. has decided he doesn't want the seat after Alpine announced that he's got it.
It's a bit mad though, right?
Yeah, so I think there's been a disagreement behind the scenes, and then Alpine have just decided we're going to set our stall out here. Because they believe contractually they've got Piastri next year. Piastri believes they don't. And the strong rumours are that he is signed something with McLaren. But then the other side of that is Ricciardo apparently has an option on the seat, but he has till September to trigger.
Yeah.
So it looks like Piastri either might be forcing his way into McLaren, which may open up the door for Ricciardo to go back to Alpine, but it looks like he's trying to force his way in there, but he's left himself in a weird contractual limbo, which is just strange.
It is, and it's the way he did it as well, wasn't it? It wasn't just like there was no announcement of, I haven't seen this or I need to check it. It was just, no, I will not be driving for Alpine next year.
Yeah, let's read it out.
It was very blunt.
I understand that without my agreement, Alpine F1 get your grammar right, put out a press release late this afternoon that I am driving for them next year. This is wrong, and I have not signed a contract with Alpine for 2023. I will not be driving for Alpine next year. It's that final one there, isn't it, that you were just saying there, Nick? It's savage.
The rumour is, though, that they had to name him as a race driver before the 31st of July in order for the contracts to be in place, that after the 31st of July they don't have first option on him. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. And they named him on the 1st of August.
Yeah.
If it's as simple as that, that's just... oh man, so stupid.
What day did Alonso announce he was going to Aston? Was it Monday?
It was, yeah, same day.
So, Alonso's really screwed them then, because if he's not told them in advance of the contract being signed, which it turns out he hasn't, then he has completely screwed them by leaving and then putting them in a position where they couldn't activate the contract until after it was gone. I think Fernando might not like some people he works for.
Yes.
But
I can't believe... the word is that the Alonso thing was over the weekend, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Which is just bananas. That's such a big commitment. I can say one thing about that. The money must have been biblical. It must have been, a truck full of cash per week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no... Yeah. It's mad. But the weird thing as well is if Piastri is working his way into McLaren technically have 3 drivers, or 2 drivers signed and 1 they're trying to get. Yeah. And they're in this exact scenario in IndyCar, aren't they? Because don't they have contracts for Pato O'Ward, Alexander Rossi for next year, Felix Rosenqvist, McLaren, he's driving there at the minute, and Alex Palou. They've got this whole thing that's not been resolved yet where their 2 teams are fighting over his services, and McLaren has announced that he's signed for them. So I don't want to be Zach Brown at the minute because he's got all the IndyCar mess to sort out, and now potentially paying out Ricciardo. Or what do you think? Paying Ricciardo for his season elsewhere as well, so he gets double wages. I don't know. Wasn't it? Kimi Räikkönen got paid by Ferrari for a year to do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go away, please.
Yeah, so it could be something like this.
I think I read it's going to whatever the Formula 1 contract arbitration board is. It'll go there if Piastri has signed someone in McLaren. So it'll go there, and it's like a team of independent lawyers who'll assess who's got the rights to Piastri. But it's quite a risk for Piastri. Because
could end up with no seat.
Exactly. He's turned down a race seat when he's got nothing at the moment. He's trying to force his way into McLaren. McLaren have got Ricciardo signed next year, or apparently Ricciardo has the option for next year, which he can trigger at any point before September. Plus, McLaren are grooming people like Colton Herta for potential drives in the future as well.
Yeah. Or Palou, potentially, if they've signed him.
Yeah. So there's no guarantee, even if Piastri were to say, right, I'll sign as reserve driver next year, there is no guarantee you'll get a race seat in 2024 if McLaren suddenly say, Colton, you're coming over.
And it is rumoured that he was still in talks with Williams as well, but why would you pick Williams over Alpine at this point?
Well, you wouldn't unless you've fallen out with them.
Yeah.
And if you've fallen out with them, you've cut your nose to spite your face, even though they might be wrong.
To me, the second press release from Alpine stating that no, he definitely is our driver, says to me that's more a case of we're announcing that yes, this is going to be a legal dispute, rather than he's going to be our driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be. It's going to be all very messy.
Because
what was it? Sauber signed 3 drivers 1 year.
Yes. What was it? Ericsson, Guido van der Garde, and someone
Guido
else.
van der Garde and NASA maybe. I could be wrong there.
Mm.
Certainly, Guido van der Garde was the one who lost out,
Yes.
and he did take him to court, and I think he did win. The key thing to understand, I think, is who is Oscar Piastri's manager, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do you know who that is? Yeah, it's Matt Webber, isn't it?
it is.
it's
And who was he managed through his career by?
Flavio Briatore.
Flavio Briatore. Didn't Flavio Briatore recently, wasn't he spotted in the F1 paddock again for the first time this year after his ban? I'm just putting 2 and 2 together, or 3 and 3 together here and getting 17. But
Yeah.
certainly, if this is some things going on like this, it feels like a Briatore move, vicariously via Webber.
Possibly. Thing is, it does open up a whole other can of worms, though, because it looks very unlikely that Piastri is going to be at Alpine regardless. So who will be the driver there?
You've got a funny situation. Ricardo left Alpine, McLaren. He clearly wants to stay at McLaren, but it looks like McLaren are desperate to get rid of him. So if you're Daniel, do you just bite the bullet and go back to Alpine?
I think you have to.
Where he was performing better in the old Renault car than he ever has in McLaren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
He's got a tattoo for those podiums. Oh no, was it Cyril?
Yep.
yeah.
So
I mean,
I still think Gasly will be there.
Ooh.
But I've said
He
that
hasn't. He's just signed a
for a
new
long time.
contract.
He has, but it's... Yeah, where's he going with it?
Well, yeah. There's no. Yeah. If I was Gasly's manager,
Yeah.
I would have put a release clause in there that I'll drive unless another team from this list offers me a drive.
Yeah.
And if I was Otmar, I'd go there because if Ricciardo goes back, the whole team knows and everybody knows he doesn't want to be there.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you've got
And
two.
if they keep Piastri, everybody knows he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, if 2 drivers don't want the seat. So it'd be interesting if Alpine bought out Gasly's contract. Piastri may then sign up for the Red Bull program if they were interested. Stick him in an AlphaTauri. And yeah, that'll be another bizarre situation and Ricciardo just rides out his year.
Yeah, we did also get the other confirmation, didn't we, of Alex Albon as well. It's confirmed.
That was hilarious.
Did you see that?
Yeah. He tweeted that I understand with my agreement that Albon will join in Williams next year after that. Yeah, the full tweet.
This
That
is
was
right,
perfect.
and I have signed a contract with Williams. I will be driving for them next year.
Bloody love it.
Did you see the tweet from Taunton Town FC?
Yes.
They announced, welcome Oscar Piastri. Piastri joins the Peacocks from Alpine F1. Hashtag Piastri announced half-time up the Peacocks. Oscar Piastri signs on for 2022-2023 season.
Brilliant.
So
Yeah.
The fact that tweet wasn't deleted, though, as well, both
Yes.
Oscar's and Alpine's posts suggest that this is a very real issue.
Yes.
If it's wrangling just to get more money from Alpine, it's a disaster, in my opinion.
Yeah, he must have an agreement with another team.
Yeah, I think
The
so.
nature of that agreement, whether it's, test with a promotion for the following year or an actual race seat for next year, we have to just wait and see.
But you're right about who would go in the Williams and the Alpine, and it's fascinating now. But also, this is excellent timing, conspiracy theory time, to throw it all up there because there's no racing at the minute for anybody to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'll keep talking about Formula 1 for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long the gap is.
Well, the other thing is Hulkenberg was mentioned quite a lot as replacing Vettel before Alonso was. It's possible he could go back to Alpine as well.
I hope Hulkenberg didn't lose a job because of Alonso being a bit weird.
yeah, I think we've seen the last of Nico, unfortunately.
So do
Same.
I.
I don't doubt his management is on it, trying, but
Because you've really only got Williams now, and they were
Yeah.
just talking up Liam Lawson. So
But he might not get the super license points. Is that correct?
If he stays where he is in the championship, I believe he will.
Right. But there's a chance he might not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they sign Hulkenberg on a maybe contract. If this and that.
Was it Liam Lawson, by the way, or was it Logan Sargent?
Oh, I'm talking about Logan Sargent. I was thinking Logan Sargent, sorry.
Yeah. I think
I
it was
completely
Liam Lawson's the
misunderstood that.
Red Bull Junior, isn't
Yes, correct. Oh, is he involved? Oh, interesting.
Was he not signed for Williams Reserve this year? Or am I getting them completely mixed up?
Liam Lawson is Red Bull reserve after somebody was racist.
Oh yes,
he? Yes.
yeah. That okay. Yeah, fair enough. You might be right. Maybe Logan Sargent I was thinking of as well.
Well, I definitely there's a push for Logan Sargent because he's American, and that's what Liberty would like.
Mm.
As we're talking about these IndyCar drivers, but how about the one that's actually doing okay in F2?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot to play for, isn't there? And I just want to go back to Hulkenberg. His manager is still Willie Webber, I believe.
Not Mark Webber.
No, Willie.
Yeah,
Who was Schumacher's, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case. Oh no, he split in 2011. That is all reverse news. Cheers, Google. The second link down was correct. Goodness me, God, Bennett. Right, I'm out. It was all going so well.
So that's silly season driver market. Nobody's going to end up where we think they're going to end up.
Yes,
because this could cost McLaren a fortune. If they have to pay off Ricardo, that's expensive. Mm-hmm. If they're found in any way to have breached Piastri's contract, they'll have to pay compensation. And it's just a bit of a mess.
Oh, do you know what it reminds me of? Jenson Button when he signed for Williams, but then didn't sign for Williams. Was it in the mid-noughties? And he still ended up at BAR at the time. And they must have, Honda as it came to be, and they must have thought, that whole team, well, he didn't want to be here, but it actually worked out in the end. So we could end up with that scenario where he does end up at Alpine, weirdly. But...
And wins the title.
Yeah.
Wins the title after lose their sponsors.
Yeah. So
Otmar F1.
Oh, poor Otmar. He's only been in the job a few months and he's made a heroics of it all.
Yeah.
He thought he was got out of the whole Stroll regime straight into the Alpine politics.
And Stroll's just nicked his driver.
Yeah, probably out of spite.
Yeah. So there was a race on at the weekend as well.
Oh, really? Was there?
You sound disappointed, Tom.
Yeah. So this season's more interesting for me.
So, big story was George Russell stuck on pole for the first time ever. Max had engine issues and Russell pulled a lap out of nowhere, really, to pit the Ferraris to take pole. Well done, him.
It was a brilliant.
It was mega.
The only problem with it is it meant that they keep calling him Mr. Saturday again.
Which
really annoys me.
Yeah. So you notice that he didn't get the purple sector in any single part of the lap?
Yeah. It was just consistent, wasn't it, rather than outright.
Yeah. That's good driving.
Yeah.
Hamilton's DRS didn't work either, did it? So
No.
No.
Q3.
You never know where he could have done, but I feel like it was such a spectacular lap from George, probably not on pole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was quicker in Q2, but then suddenly George found about 8/10 of a second in Q3.
Yeah.
Which is just daft. So it was right before qualifying. It didn't end up bleeding into qualifying, but Perez missed out, made a quick mess of it. Verstappen had an engine issue, so he was 10th, Perez 11th. So it looked like an easy win for Ferrari, given their Friday pace, but as we now know, that didn't happen.
Yeah. But just a quick thing, because I know we're pushed for time, and here I am dragging it on, but in qualifying, I don't know if you saw Perez got his lap deleted, and then it was reinstated.
Yes.
Rightly reinstated, but wrongly. It was a weird thing, because also then Gasly in Q1 got his lap deleted, but there isn't footage of it, I don't believe.
Yes, they only had
and he was saying in an
CCTV
interview
footage.
Yeah, so is that what they used to take away the lap?
It is, yeah.
Seems a bit weird to me. Yeah, well, not doubting it, but track limits reared its ugly head a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just more gravel.
That's what.
But
Max
then why
said.
was more gravel? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. He said,
I haven't been.
just put gravel on the edge of the track. we won't have
When
this
you
problem.
see Spa, the next race, you'll see there's a load of gravel.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few hours of racing, it's all over the track.
Yeah.
But that first corner, Lecum, there's going to be someone in that gravel trap in Formula 1, mark my words.
Is there gravel outside there now?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
There's no asphalt runoff, it's straight gravel trap.
I love it, though.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, in the GT4 race I saw, stood at the first corner for, like 3 of them all sort of came together and they all just ended up stuck in the gravel. Safety car. Interesting times. There's gravel on the outside of that corner with no name that does have a name now. I have to go around Bruxelles, which is a long downhill right-hander. Then there's a fast left before you plunge further down. That's got gravel on the outside now as well.
Mm. That was just about AstroTurf then, the wall before.
Yeah. There's gravel there now, and someone got sucked into the wall because they were like skating across the top of the gravel.
Mm.
So, we'll see. You know, we've all been talking about no sausage curbs. This track limits is rubbish. More gravel. Spa is a test if it works for Formula 1 because it's just got a load of gravel everywhere now. Not in every corner, but the majority.
A lot of crashes in practice then.
Yeah. Good point. Anyway, Hungary, the race.
Hungary. Yeah. So Russell started on the softs, whereas most other people around him were on the mediums, which gave him the lead into turn 1. Carlos tried to go around the outside, but he ran deep, and Russell just pinched him, kept the lead. Hamilton gets shoved out by Norris, and Perez managed to jump for Verstappen, but Max took the place back at the chicane. Ocon was defending hard from Fernando, which Fernando didn't like. And I think his radio messages now at the end of the season are just going to be ignored in any situation like this.
Yeah.
It was so funny. He's never ever seen someone defend that hard. You sure about that, Fernando?
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
We have some video footage of you, which I'd like to show you.
I'm glad Ocon's fighting though. Now he knows. He's like, well, no team orders now.
Yeah, I'm now the lead driver.
But I would say it was a good start from Hamilton. I know he got forced off at the end, but to get to that position was he went around the outside of the 2 Alpines, didn't he, at the first corner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While it was squabbling.
Yeah, again, all race. Albon lost bits his front wing, ran into the back of an Aston Martin at turn 2.
Yeah, clumsy that.
Mm.
And early in the race, both Red Bulls were behind Alpines, but Verstappen got through pretty easy. And then Perez followed suit.
Yeah, that was just like, I didn't get too excited about those overtakes because it's such a pace differential. It's kind of irrelevant. That's the thing, I think, this season is, we've got better racing and stuff, but the top 2 teams and then are so far ahead of the midfield that it doesn't matter if you qualify 10th to an extent. I'm not taking anything away for this particular result. I thought it was a superb drive, amazing tactics. But just generally, if you're in a Ferrari or a Red Bull and it's normal conditions, you are going to easily carve through the field, and those overtakes to me are not interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
There was, it looked pretty early on to me, well, Max might win this because Russell wasn't pulling away from him. Mm-hmm. And he was just taking cars easily.
Yes.
So he was on the back.
The gap to him to Russell wasn't that big ever.
No. And he got in the back of Hamilton quick.
Yeah.
And Hamilton and Verstappen got past Norris on the same lap.
I thought Hamilton was being quite tentative, and then when Verstappen came behind, he all of a sudden sent it.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Then we got the strategy nonsense, basically. So I think it was like lap 17 or 18, Russell pitted as expected on his softs, but Ferrari responded by then pulling in signs on his mediums.
So to be clear at this point, the mediums could and should have lasted much longer. Is that the first blunder?
Yeah, they could have easily done 25 laps. So the pull time in, I think, lap 18. The Leclerc overcut, and I think pull time in lap 21. So Leclerc overcut signs and took second off of him. But you've just given away your tyre advantage by basically mirroring the soft runners.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which, I would say that was mistake number 1. Leclerc then took the lead from Russell. Russell defended for a few laps, but he got around outside going into turn 1.
I liked how Russell defended, because probably technically it damaged his race, but I just want to see an actual fight.
Yeah.
And the final overtake from Leclerc was spectacular, I thought. I know it was around the outside, but he also then turned in, didn't he? And it just millimetre perfect.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
He was very lucky it didn't frighten us on a lock-up.
That's true.
But
it was risky.
It's a great overtake. Then both Alpines go in the hard tyres and they're just nowhere. Both skating about. Which they end up squabbling with each other in turn 2 and allows Ricciardo up the inside.
Yeah, it was lovely.
And F1 Twitter explodes saying, "That's Ricciardo back. He's back." And 20 laps later, the exact same corner, he locks up and wiped at Lance Stroll. It's like, there he is. That's this year's Ricciardo back.
Yeah.
I was completely with you there. Like, at first time I saw it, I thought, that's an amazing move. And then I thought, no, there's 2 cars on hard tyres and he's on mediums.
Yeah.
I know he's got to do it, but like, if you're on the same tyres, I would have been excited.
Yeah, Ocon was definitely in, no, Fernando, you will not pass me, no. And didn't really care, or didn't know, maybe, that Ricciardo was there. He was purely concentrating on stopping Alonso.
Which, on the team wall, they might be like, that was short-sighted and stupid, but ultimately, Ricciardo's going to get them either way.
Yeah.
So, it actually probably saved them time doing it in one fell swoop.
True. Yeah. And Ricciardo pitted later anyway for hard. And I think that's what sent them into the side of Stroll.
Yeah.
So he ended up losing out anyway. So Verstappen then pits for mediums on lap 39 after he started on the softs, and then Ferrari do another bizarre thing by pitting Leclerc a lap later for hards to cover off what Verstappen's just done. But the hards aren't working for anyone.
Yeah, it wasn't as if they had no warning.
If they'd have gone longer on the first mediums, they could have done medium, soft, or medium, soft, medium, or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But instead, they went hards in the middle for a longer thing, and that just was a disaster.
But
I mean, it's all very well being capped in hindsight, but even when you're watching it, you think that's weird.
Yeah. Because Sainz did medium, soft.
Mm-hmm.
He had to do obviously a longer medium and a longer soft than he wanted, but still did it with him. But
I also feel like that was a late decision, which compromised the medium, soft thing. Like it wasn't perfectly timed, perhaps, because I think they were going to go on hards, and then I don't know, could be wrong there.
Well, apparently, it was never discussed in any of the strategies that they were going to go on the hards.
Plan F, Plan Z,
and they've just decided to put the hards on instead.
F for sure.
Yeah, but if you're worried about Max coming through, who's absolutely flying on soft tires, why would you put on the hards?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
It was just bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Leclerc just goes backwards at that point, and then eventually has to abandon it and then pit for softs. But at that point, he's nowhere. What I would say in Ferrari's defence is that when Sainz put on the soft tyres, he was useless. So
that's true. That is overlooked in this whole debate.
So whether Leclerc would have had any pace on if he had went on to them is probably the unknown here. But as everyone can see, they made a strategic mistake, so everyone just thinks of handing another one to Max. But Max may have won anyway because of the pace he had.
I don't know. I think if your rival started in 10th and you've got track position and the rival's also spun and they've still won, you've definitely made a strategy error.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine.
He's not that much quicker than Ferrari. I'm sorry.
No, probably not. Like, Max has to really fight for the first overtake. Leclerc tries to defend into turn 1 but can't.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Resistance is futile.
Yeah. Then Max spins it for some weird reason, coming at the hairpin, but then he just blows his, just blasts right through everyone again.
Mm-hmm.
Him spinning probably cost Perez the podium, because that allowed Russell to get nick up the inside of him, or round the outside, sorry.
Yeah.
I did notice that when Verstappen spun, Leclerc was following on Leclerc's onboard. His car stepped out as well, which I don't know if that was a reaction to Verstappen spinning or if there was something on the track at that point.
Oh, right, interesting.
Won't know. But
could be. It was a weird spin.
It was drizzly, so it was like the mild fretted rain all race, and it never come because it's always on the camera lens, and you're thinking, "Oh, here it is."
Yeah,
and no. Lewis Hamilton, though, I thought was either 1 or 2 for driver of the day, because he stuck on the soft tyres and he was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
He overtook Sainz so easily.
Yeah, on the same rubber at that point. Was Sainz on them for longer at that point, though?
He was, yeah. He was compromised by the length of time he had to be on them.
That's what I mean. I think the Ferrari messed up Sainz's strategy of the length he was on the softs at the end. Like, again, going back to that early medium stop at the start of the race.
Yeah.
So it wasn't quite as simple as, oh, well, he did the no hard strategy and he was still poor because he didn't use the first set long enough, I don't think. Could be wrong there.
No, we could have you. So, yeah, Max won. There was a couple of battles at the end of the race. I think Joe took Schumacher at the last corner.
Yeah.
And I think you spotted, Tom, that both Aston Martins were taking each other off.
Yep.
Yeah. Vettel got the final point in the end, but he had to force Stroll off the road a bit at certain points, which is quite interesting.
And then
obviously, yeah, Stroll said it straight at the next one, but nah. Obviously, at the end, he was on the soft and Vettel was on the medium, but I guess Vettel must have been on newer tyres.
I think so, yeah.
But then we had not the return of Brad, but we had Ben. Stroll was getting very angry with his race engineer. But the language the race engineer uses is almost like a driver coach, not a strategist or engineer, right?
Yeah.
Think about your combined entries. We need to look after the left front. You know, it's like a tutorial session.
Yeah.
It's like a video game. Press X to jump.
I was just thinking, the one on the right to go quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Stroll, I think we said the last episode, he doesn't want to be where he is at the moment. And I think the team, the poor team that has to work with him, take the brunt of that. How much would you hate being his race engineer?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a poison chalice. It must come with a massive pay packet. Yeah. It's got to.
I mean, there's other drivers who are difficult. I mean, Lando's always quite tetchy on the radio to his engineer, and other drivers are as well, but like
they're quick.
Yeah, Stroll is just at another level, which is, he's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, true. Hamilton and Max both have a reputation for having a moan, don't they?
Yeah.
But they're both champions. It sort of gives you the right.
I thought the last couple of hours might be a bit exciting because it was a threat of rain, and then Bottas retired, which extended the race with VSC.
I thought it was going to be a full safety car. I wanted it to be.
Yeah,
I don't think if it's a full safety car, they add laps on, do they?
No. That's a touring car thing.
Yeah, so it just would have. Maybe VSC was more interested in the end. I don't know.
Well, it looked like it would take the race into the rain shower that was due after the race, which I don't even know if came or not.
Oh, it definitely was raining on the cool down lap.
Oh, was it? Right. I didn't watch it. I turned off at that point.
Do you know what annoyed me at this point? David Croft.
It's unusual.
Welcome to the club.
It was one lap left. It starts raining. So he's blathering on about, oh, there's a 10-second gap. It's come down to 9 seconds. It's come down. Will he do it? No, he won't.
Yeah.
Max is just taking it easy with a 10-second gap.
Yeah.
You don't need to fake the enthusiasm. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
That did bother me about Hamilton coming through as they kept going. He's going to catch Max. Like, no, he's not.
Yeah, he's not.
He's really not. We can all see he's not. But yeah.
They've got something to say, haven't they? To try and hype up the end of the race. But it annoys me a bit. Don't try and speculate too much. Let the race do the talking.
But it's great to see Mercedes competitive, both race and qualifying.
Yeah.
Now, whether they're back or not, or if it's just track dependent, but they've been on a good run of form. So Spa's a funny one.
They're slow in a straight line, aren't they? So I don't think they'll do well.
No.
Well, I think they'll be just in 5th to 6th position.
In 3rd overall.
Yeah. That's my prediction, we'll see.
So I think Max has got an 80-point lead now.
Yeah, I just did the maths on that. That's incredible. I mean, it's we said it last week, but it really is over now. Forget it.
Well, yeah, I remember during qualifying, I was just thinking that, we were saying last week that it was all over, and now he's halfway down the grid. The Ferrari's going to get all the points back. And then this happened anyway, so it's like,
Yeah.
doesn't seem to matter what he does. He's just coming up good every time.
And Mercedes, not far behind Ferrari in the constructors there, 30 points.
Yeah, they're closing in, and Russell's still ahead of Sainz, but now Hamilton's only 10 points behind Sainz now.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the comparative seasons as well, Russell's only 20 points behind Leclerc, which, the way
That's
Ferrari
just
are
mad.
going, they might not even finish in the top three of the drivers either.
Now, I think it's been a shambolic period, but I do think they'll fight back. Maybe not at Spa, but I think it's really close between Mercedes and Ferrari at the minute. I still think by the end of the year, Ferrari will have a good gap to them. I think they'll just get their heads sorted. When I left Heathrow Airport at the weekend, on Monday even, there's a big sponsorship banner for some tech company, and it's got the Ferrari Formula 1 car, and it's like, find out what Scuderia Ferrari uses for their strategic decisions. And I couldn't take a picture because I was driving. And I was like, that is the worst timed advert I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
That was booked a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, were they not? It might still be, but I'm sure they were sponsored by Kaspersky. And
It wasn't Kaspersky because I thought, I've not heard of this company before.
No, but Kaspersky, I think, and the security sponsored them after McLaren had stole their data in like 2007 or 8 or something. And their advert was like, "We're the protector of your Ferrari's data." It's it's not a good one either.
No,
it's not a good one. Do you know that data thing was actually discovered because the McLaren engineer with the information sent his wife to the local photocopier company shop. And I talked that on the podcast the other day. Sorry.
No, you didn't.
I just thought it was amazing. So she went to the photocopier place, and the guy happened to be Italian and a massive Ferrari fan. So he made like 2 copies and called Ferrari.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm assuming home printers were still quite expensive then back in 2007.
Yeah, must have been. Photocopier shop, yeah.
Oh, that's mad. So, summer break. So get a nice wee break for F1. And then we're back at Spa for the last 9 races.
Gravel strewn Spa. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. 3 retirements for Max, plus he needs to beat him in a couple of races.
No, forget it. There's no point even talking about it.
The only way this can happen at the moment is Max crashing out in such a way that he manages to get a ban.
Grosjean style at the start of Spa.
Yeah.
The thing is, that'll be a warning the first time.
Oh, yeah.
So he has to do it like 3 races in a row. It's not.
I'm talking about the penalty points.
Ah, okay. Has he got some already?
I think so. Most of them do at the moment.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. There is always the slight unknown that's hanging about of COVID.
That's true.
Could take you out for 2 races in a row.
Definitely could do.
So, it's not over, Tom.
Well, we're not wishing COVID on anybody. But it is over. It is over.
Yeah.
It's completely over. We just need to talk about, who's going to win the race.
True. So, next is Spa, then it's Netherlands, Italy, Singapore, Japan, USA, Mexico, Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Who's winning in Belgium then?
Max.
Yeah.
And he'll win in the Netherlands as well.
I think with that straight, Red Bull have got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Ferrari's quick there now on the straight, but I'm with you there.
I can't keep saying Sainz because he's finally won a race. Yeah.
You could go alternative with Perez if you wanted.
Yeah, that's not happening either. It's got to be Max or some huge chaos. Depends on weather as well, I suppose.
Well, yeah, we might not get a race.
Yeah, true. You know, it's like, I went to this 24-hour Spa race and it was dry the entire thing, which is like a first time ever. So you never know. It does have the ability to be sun shining over there.
Yeah, Stroll for the win.
What I'll do at the weekend was the Go Latifi memes, because he was top in FP3 and then he was last in qualifying. It was
That
such
is quite the turnaround.
This
It's
is
because
such
it
a
was wet,
turnaround.
wasn't it? And didn't you go
Yeah.
out on inters at the end of the session of FP3?
Yeah. It was a wet. It was wet with practice, and
It
then
was drying out anyway.
yeah, and it was a dry qualifying, and he messed it up on the last corner. He's lap, which I felt for him.
Yeah.
Moving on then to a series where there is a championship fight that Tom might believe in. BTCC is back, and it's back from Knockhill, and on wonderful sunny Scotland, which wasn't that sunny. But back at Knockhill, great track. Summer break, missed it a bit, and Jake Hill took pole for race 1.
Commandingly as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny because he was in a BMW.
Yeah.
Well, 5 of the top 6 were BMWs. It's a bit. It was a bit dominant this weekend.
Now, this circuit's traditionally been real drive focused.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair thing to say? I think it is.
Yes.
The other thing is, I just think WSR are doing an amazing job. Is that a fair thing to say as well?
Yeah.
But, oof, all of them in the top 6 is pretty mad, and I think that'll give some teams some wiggle room to complain.
Yeah. Although the theory is that the next round at Snetterton, I think, it will be front wheel drive focused.
Let's see though.
Yeah.
I think it should be. You're right. Yeah. Of course, Ashley Sutton did his best to dispel these theories and rumours, but like without him, it would be complete domination from the
Yeah.
330Es.
Ease, is it? No?
Oh, it is plug-in hybrids, yo.
Yeah, sort of.
Fair enough. Yeah, so he did well, Sutton, to get to second, at least. Aaron Morgan didn't make the start. Well, didn't make his grid spot, so he had to start for the pit lane.
Had to be towed around, didn't he? On the
He started on the back of the grid as well.
Oh,
He didn't start
right,
from the
okay.
He started
There was some
in
confusion.
30th place on the grid, even though he was the 29th car.
How does that work?
Because his original third place grid spot was empty.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, Hill got off the line well, kept the lead, but then Sutton managed to attack him round outside the hairpin and take the lead into Duffers.
That was wild.
lovely.
Sorry, Nick.
No,
So
it
it was-
just was lovely.
It was. I think everyone knows that. Oh, you've got to attack on the first lap, right, against the BMWs or Infinities for that matter. But that was some way of doing it, though. No one goes around the outside of Duffers, and it wasn't even like almost like fully ahead, right? It was a side by side.
Mm.
We're just going to turn in on this wide line I've just invented, NASCAR style. I mean, he set it up at Taylor's at the hairpin.
Yeah.
Right?
I think he stuck it on the outside. And Jake, I think, was very nice to him, to not put him in the gravel.
Yeah.
But on that first lap, you've got to be a bit trepidatious with that BMW. It seems.
Hmm.
It was just amazing. And then Sutton's just chucking it about all race.
Yeah.
It's just mad.
Well, you picked up on his the way he took the chicane every lap, which was really he wasn't actually taking the chicane. He was launching the car over the second curb.
Yeah, it's mad. I had to watch it in slow motion, and he barely touches the first curb. And while he's doing that, he's already turning right. He's got a completely different line to even the other front-wheel drive cars.
There was a few cars that were taking a similar line, but his was definitely more extreme.
Yeah, exactly. He takes it to the max, right? I seem to remember a few years ago they said you can't really do that, but that seems to have disappeared now. I remember Tom Chilton getting pole position a while back in a Focus, taking a really aggressive line, but this is another level of that, where he's turning right before the left's finished, where most people are still going left.
Yeah. Does it count as track limits if you're in midair?
Well, I think that's probably the loophole, or something like this. He is 4 wheels off the track, in my opinion. There's no way about it. But is he 4 wheels on the grass? Well, no, because he hits the curb in a way where he's never touching the grass, I guess. It's bananas. And I sent a really nerdy message, right, because it reminds me of Giovanardi back in the day in the
Yes.
Italian touring cars. But if you watch the way he's taking those curbs is it 97, I think, in Pergusa? It's just the very similar technique. You just completely throw it because the car is strong enough to take it.
I did notice Ricky Collard was also taking a similar line as well.
Right, yeah. He was being very aggressive, wasn't he? But Sutton maybe was quicker on the rest of the lap as well. I do think that is where he was making the time up predominantly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And some laps he was doing it more than others. There was one where it's kind of off camera, and he really is 4 wheels off the track. I think it's race 2 maybe at some point. But fair play to having the chutzpah to do it, because it's completely blind from the seating position. Is that prize?
Yeah, good choice of word as well.
Oh, thanks. I'm ashamed that I swallowed halfway before it. That's an awful audio noise. But yeah, it's completely blind. You can't see where you're aiming. So to have, I don't know, the feeling or the knowledge of how to aim it with confidence is special. And I would guess maybe the car's set up to handle it as well. Maybe it's...
Well, his car was bouncing and moving all over the place, every corner. Which...
There was reasons for that, apparently. Which we can come to in a little bit. I can see the puzzle.
Okay. You're keeping that as a surprise for us.
Yeah.
So then we get a couple of retirements and penalties. Dexter Patterson gets a drive-through. Tom Chilton, I almost said Max here. Because we've got replacement commentators who doesn't know anyone's name.
Yeah. Just on that, I thought I quite enjoyed them, but there was many mistakes, consistent mistakes. Like Max Chilton was one, wasn't it? Some hybrid rule stuff. And what were the other words that you weren't a fan of?
Well, he used people's full names, so it was Ashley Sutton and Daniel Rowbottom, things like that. But I genuinely thought he was quite good. I enjoyed him, but he was clearly not fully prepped for this. It was not like it's something he does regularly, obviously. So
apparently got the call up on the Wednesday. Because who would normally do it, Nick?
Well, David Addison was away, wasn't he? He was
24 hours of Spa.
Yeah. And Richard John Neal, who normally does the support races, would have taken over, but he was unwell, I believe.
Yeah, so we wish him all the best. But yeah, he wasn't just doing British touring cars, which is a lot of cars to remember and a lot of different rules. He was doing the Ginettas and the Porsches.
Yeah.
So trying to prepare that whole thing from Wednesday onwards is pretty wild. So considering that, it's pretty good.
He definitely did a good job.
Just it's Tom Chilton.
Yeah. So Tom Chilton pits. Jerry Edwards is then sent off with a spin by Ola Jackson, and Jackson gets a 5-second penalty. Plato's then off as well.
We don't know why though, right?
Yeah, I didn't see why.
No, didn't get a replay. So he's off.
I didn't see any penalties for that particular incident either.
No, it's probably Matt Neal's fault.
Yeah, he's booby trapped to track. So yeah, Plato's off, and then Hill runs into the back of Sutton at the hairpin and bends his front end in. He almost then takes the lead through Duffers, but Sutton knocks him out wide, and I thought at that point Turkington should have took second off of Hill, but he kind of held back as they got into turn 3.
Through Leslie's. And then into... Is it called Leslie's still? The second bit? Before McIntyre's? Tim Harvey kept calling it Leslie's, but I can't find it on the internet. I hope it is. I think it's Duffers, Leslie's, McIntyre's. There's 3 bits.
Yeah, I think so. It does make me laugh that the chicane is just called chicane as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the aforementioned moment where Ash Sutton's car, that was supposed to start handling so badly, was after contact from the hill.
Oh, so
yeah, allegedly something was slightly bent in the rear suspension after that. And
allegedly.
didn't Turkington have a tap later on?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought out the kind of bump that Hill gave him, but maybe he was turning at the point where he touched him.
Maybe. I'm with you there. I was a bit suspicious when Ash said that.
Yeah.
If he's the one driving it, and if he can feel a slight difference, I can't. It might be just the tracking was slightly out. You know, it might not have been a serious thing, but it might just have to have just the driving style. What I loved about this point is as well, just after, is when Hill's trying to get down at the hairpin, and he's on the grass under braking at one point.
Yeah.
don't know if you recall that. It's like there's like a shot from behind as opposed to looking at them forward. And he's trying to weave, and he gets a wheel on the grass. And I thought, oh man, that's going to be a huge accident. But fair play, it wasn't. Especially considering when he hit the back of Sutton, he locked at the brakes. I thought, oh, here we go, it's going to be another lockup.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
I mean, watching Hill all weekend, he was just epic driving that thing.
It was amazing, but it was a bit too wild.
Oh, yeah.
Do you not think? Like, in terms of his own... Like, he ran wide at the chicane at least once in every race, I've noticed. And he was saying how, the balance of the car's changed, I can't go over the chicane. Like, but I think part of it, and that might be true, I'm not doubting it, but part of it might be, you in a rear-wheel drive car, you cannot do what Ash Sutton's doing in front of you.
Yeah.
So much, I don't think.
Yeah, not necessarily the best way to win championships or races, but certainly entertaining to watch his style.
Oh, no, I love it. Yeah, keep it going. Keep it going, Jake.
Yeah, far more entertaining his teammate.
Yeah.
Mister, I'll just park my car in Ford's Turkington.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought Colin should have had him at that one. But Wappy, Hill tries to get around outside the Duffers, but Sutton they managed to nick back up inside the McIntyre, which I thought was quite brave. Hill almost got it done round outside, but I thought Ash was brave to keep his nose in there.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's a bit dirty on that line through, we'll say Leslie's, into McIntyre's. Sorry. And it might be wrong. And Hill could have eased him wider, I think, than he did. But fair play. And then when they come to the next chicane, Hill has a massive slide through it. It's epic.
Yeah.
And he's coming out of the hairpin several times. It's like watching some rallying or something. It was mad.
Lap 10, and Hill finally gets the lead, gets switched back at the hairpin and manages to take the lead before they get to Duffers. Which, then immediately you saw the pace, which the BMWs are just flying. Turkington then pressurises Sutton, but he never really goes for it.
Yeah.
Which, I like Colin, but it's days like Sunday where you're like, come on, just stick your nose up somewhere.
Yeah, but is that what wins the championship?
I don't care, to be honest. I don't care. But yeah, I thought he could have went for it a few times.
I mean, he locked up and had a biff. That could have been an accident in this run. Maybe that scared him a bit.
Yeah, that was a bit dubious, I thought, that one. I wasn't sure if that was more Ash moving over very late or Colin just braking too late.
I feel like Ash does move a little bit in the braking zone when Colin's already committed to it. Then I think that set his stall out as a statement of intent of, no, you're not getting past it.
Bit of midfield fight. Moffat drops back a few positions behind Bobby Thompson. Gamble's in a good place this weekend in the points, and he's pressurising Jelly, and there's a bit of fight with him and Ingram. Then Cook gets sent off, as does Michael Creasy. And I think Crease was contact with Plato that sent him off.
Interesting.
Plato was in the wars this weekend.
Yeah.
Not a good one, was it?
No. Adam Morgan.
Gamble Watch is good this week.
Oh yeah, Gamble Watch is great.
Yes.
It is less fun than Smelt Watch, to be honest, but
yes.
It's
We've
good
been
well.
slacking on Smelt Watch because I noticed he did a race a few months ago.
Oh.
It was just one of a Twitter update, his first of the year, I think.
Was it a Porsche thing?
Yes.
Yeah, in Caymans and stuff. Yeah, I saw that.
It was just a one-off. Yeah, that was all. He does still drive.
He does. Adam Morgan, I thought a great race. He went from 29th up to 15th at one point, and he had a good fight with Cook, which we got to see on TV for a few laps. And he managed to get. I thought it was clever because he tried to get the switch back at the hairpin on one lap, and Cook balked it. So the next lap, he just drove right round outside of him. That's
the Tom defence, as I call it. Park it on the apex.
It was, but this scenario did not work.
No.
I thought it was excellent from Morgan as well. You're right. Yeah, like to come back from so far and out Fox Cook, who'd fallen back for some unknown reason at that point, right? I think there was just a shot of him. He was higher up in the top 10, and then there was just a shot of him driving slow out the hairpin, and you think, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, he was knocked off at one point, but we didn't see who done it. And then there's a little family fight between Butch and Sharon. As Rory managed to get past.
Yeah, that was good. There was no holding back as well, which is what we like to see.
Mm-hmm. So Hill took the win from Sutton and Turkington. Almost gamble. Go on, Nick.
5th place for George.
Yeah, he's quite high up this week, so when I'm reading it, he's quite early. Ingram was 6. Camish, what is happening with Dan Camish?
I don't know. I thought that was okay.
Yeah, but
you have to compare to his teammate, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's either got terrible luck or he's just not got the pace to match Ash.
I mean, he did beat 2 other Fords, but if I'm looking at it from a glass half full, but yeah, Sutton smashing it. I mean, he's been really unlucky with certain things, but then sometimes if you're in the mid-pack, have you made your own luck by qualifying there? I'm not sure.
And a bit surprised this weekend was Dan Lloyd was just absolutely nowhere.
Yeah,
he was down in 19th.
Look into that.
They did interview him, was it on the way to the grid?
In race
when they
3.
did that thing where they're talking to. And he said, what's he said?
Nightmare setup.
Yes.
And then he was talking about in race 1 and 2, the diff ramps were put on correctly.
Yes, that was it. Diff ramps were backwards or something, or put on the wrong way around.
Yeah. So he was hoping for race 3, but
and they couldn't change them in time for race 2, which sounds a bit dubious as well. But he definitely had a better race 3. But
yeah, at the end of the weekend, he put a disaster weekend. One costly setup mistake on Friday led to many other issues. And he was saying that the wheel spinning in 3rd and 4th gear.
That's not
at
ideal.
one point, which is not ideal. So that's something to do with the diff being weird. So you never know, right? I'm interested to watch his behind the scenes video on YouTube when that comes out.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Unless he does a Tom Coronel, which is if something bad's happened, he just doesn't do a vlog that week. Anyway,
don't blame
a different championship. Yeah.
Don't blame him. Into race 2 then, and Hill and Pole again with the hybrid ballast, which I think we can safely say now at this point of the year it's not working.
Ooh, I mean, it didn't have enough of an effect.
Yeah.
That's what John Cleland was saying. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. That was quite amusing.
Tim Harvey batted it away by saying he couldn't understand the rules or something, and he was like, I can. It's a bit condescending, actually, that bit. There was trying to be bad, and then there was a bit, there's a bit of needle there still in there after. I'm not going to mention it, the year. It gets mentioned too many times.
I'm going to guess, because I genuinely don't know, I'm going to guess. Is it 91?
Close, 92.
Ah.
When they're fighting for the championship. And here's me mentioning it. They literally mention it every BTCC final round beforehand.
Yep.
And it's like, come on, it's 30 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. Nearly 30. What the hell?
Yeah.
Painful. Anyway, race 2. So
in the here and now.
Yep. So Hill keeps the lead, but there's a few cars off at Duffers. And McIntyre's Ingram shoves up the right hand side to Gamble to take 5th. Can't really see what's going in the back. There's just a couple of cars about.
Is it Ollie Jackson? And
yes, it was.
Will Powell got a penalty points for it. Yeah.
Yes. So going through the next section, there's a Ford. I think Jackson that gets turned round at the side at the back, which was Powell. I think moving across, sending him in a spin. Jackson goes flying through one of the quick fit boards, and then Plato tries to go around the outside of Powell, which is going to be the inside for the chicane. It's contact between them two. I think Powell goes off with a puncture, and Plato smashes, what would you call it, the corner cushion or whatever.
Yeah.
Corner cushion.
The tyre stack, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just like an inflatable thing at a bouncy castle they've shoved on the inside the corner, because it just bounces off him. So, yeah, Powell got, I think, a reprimand and 2 points for that.
Yeah.
And obviously, Plato's race is ruined. I think he's got is it a puncture or suspension at the front right?
Yeah.
Powell's suspension is broken at the rear left.
Mm-hmm. I did think at the time, I was like, why the hell did Plato effectively aim for that barrier type thing? but it looked like he had no steering at that point.
It looked like I'd
avoid
already
it.
had the contact.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that, not blaming him, but he's a little tentative. And in the older days, he would have been just he would have backed out a little bit later and maybe aimed for the contact, which would have meant it might have hit the door, not the wheel.
Yeah.
He tries to almost back out a bit, and that means the contact's further back.
Mm.
Well, that's what it looks like to me, anyway. Anyway, then the safety car's on track, and no one realises it, and it's another disaster, and it cuts.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, Ingram dies up the inside of jelly to take fourth, right as the safety car's... I think
Already
the
on
safety car's
track?
thrown. Well, yeah, the safety car's thrown out on track, but no one's seen the board yet.
Yeah.
But the way they sit in Knockhill is there's an escape road on it before the hairpin, and all the safety cars are just sat parked there.
Mm-hmm.
So they've also got on the radio said safety car. He's
interesting.
pulled out, but the guy's pulled out right in front of everyone who's still racing.
I don't know if the boards are displayed anywhere at that point, but the problem is from that camera angle you can't see. But I've watched it over and over again. Doesn't look like there's anything being waved or placed out aboard, but
I think there's a light panel
yes,
just
there
before
is.
the pit entry.
Right. But that's
there's
after the
I don't-
hairpin, after the
Yeah,
that's the
there's
first
don't-
time.
Don't think there's anything before.
Yeah. So to me, I've watched this 3 or 4 times now. When the safety car's already on track and Hill's already behind it, Collard overtakes Chilton and keeps that position. I'm convinced of it. Before the hairpin is behind him, then just before the camera cuts, he's overtaking him on the pit straight after the pit entrance, and then afterwards it cut back and he's ahead of him. But now obviously nothing's happened and it's not been reprimanded, which suggests to me that if nothing has changed, there was no safety car boards, because you had cars weaving, like Turkington's weaving on the straight at the start finish line where pole position is, and at that point Collard is still flat out just as it's cresting the hill, along with who's behind him, Moffat. I've got it on the screen now. It's just really dangerous. But it cut away and there was no replay with good reason again.
Yeah.
Like, I would like an investigation as to what happened here, but we'll never. If there is one, we'll never hear about it. But
Yeah, that's true.
the upshot is you've got some cars going slowly and weaving, and cars behind flat out, and you can't be having that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, there needs to be something better for safety cars. I know why they race to see the boards, but I think they've got to look at changing that.
It's got to be
immediate full course yellows with some sort of warning system in the cars.
if you
I'm
watch.
sure they've got lights in the cars that tell them.
Yeah,
No,
that's
but-
what I was thinking.
Also, if you watch things like GT World Challenge Europe, the biggest GT3 championship, or ELMS or WEC, or supercars in Australia, right? When they're throwing a full course caution, or let's say a virtual safety car, or a full safety car, the race director's instruction goes over the radio to every team and driver. So in that moment, everybody knows. Right, safety car. That doesn't have to have a new system or a new board or anything. Just has to have a different radio section process, in my opinion. What do I know? Hey, if I'm wrong, let me know on the internet, please. But that's what happens in other series, is my understanding.
Yeah.
Rant over.
No, I agree. It should be
How many
immediate.
times this season, though? Last season, have we seen it, though? In this championship?
Oh, last season was shocking.
Yeah.
That was really bad. Yeah, this is probably the first, probably the second one we picked up this year.
Yeah.
But I think it might be a quirk of the track as well. But there should be
True, yeah. You're right.
There should be better. Yeah, but there should be better ways of putting the safety car out and telling the drivers.
Yeah, I think
The whole race so you see the board, to me, is a nonsense.
Yeah. It's just outdated, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
absolutely. So the restart, Hill managed to keep the lead until lap 5, where they then run wide at the chicane for the first time, and allowed Ash through. This is where I think he says something broke in his car and it never came back. But
He did clear up that curb, though, when he landed.
He did.
yeah,
Anyway, he's still
it's
quick to the reversal lap, wasn't he?
Yeah. So Ash takes the lead. We've got Cook, Moffat and Thompson all fighting at the hairpin, and Josh Cook's run out into the gravel. Dexter Patterson then goes up inside the Osborne, falling through row bottom at the hairpin. Patterson made a few lunges at the hairpin all weekend.
Yeah.
I think
They
they
did it on
all
one
came
camera,
off
didn't they?
Yeah. So they all came off, I think, bar one where they rode on board and he just smashed the back end of someone.
Aaron Taylor Smith, it might have been.
It was indeed, yeah. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Did he get a penalty for that?
I think so.
He may have.
He definitely got at least a reprimand for something.
Yeah. There was one of the moves that I think he got picked up on. So then we've got Bobby Thompson off. Lap
with
18.
grass in front of his bumper, right?
Yeah.
It was looking racy this weekend. That was a shame that it happened like that.
Aye, it was having a good one. Lap 18, Hill runs wide again at chicane. I was tucked in through for second. Another mistake, I think. I don't think there's anything wrong with the car. I think he's just clamping the curb too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Colin then loses second because he runs wide at Dufford's as Hill's trying to make a move up the inside.
Un-Turkington like.
Yeah, but I think he's probably pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
He wasn't too racy this weekend. So then Rick Parfitt Jr. spun by Ash Hand at the hairpin.
Oh, this is
Yes.
the funniest one.
Yeah, because I thought this is Rick Parfitt's obligatory spin for a weekend, but yeah, it wasn't his fault this time.
So Hand got a reprimand for it, but they're both. It's like a comedy sketch. What?
Yeah.
Because obviously Hand's tipped him into this spin, but then Hand's deliberately driving to the front of his car to push the front round again.
Yeah.
Which, if Parfitt's off the throttle, straightens him up and they carry on. But Parfitt then buries the throttle, it's bouncing off the limiter. So they just sort of stand, they're like doing burnouts. They stood there. What the heck was that all about? I know it's Ash Hand's fault, but if Parfitt is off throttle at that point, I suppose it's a bit of an experience with rear-wheel drive in touring cars. Because it's the Matt Neal thing to, if you tap a rear-wheel drive car, you then deliberately drive into the front of it and it straightens them out again.
Never works in Gran Turismo, I just spin them the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just looks so comical.
Well, Rick always gives us something to laugh at every week.
Yeah.
At least he didn't jump out of the car and start cheering at the crowd.
Yeah. Poor Rick. So, Patterson then takes the last point position from Rowbottom, going round outside the hairpin this time. And then we just see Adam Morgan drop out the points. But don't see why. I'm assuming he gets pushed off. Last lap, last corner. Hill tries to take the lead, going round outside of the hairpin. 6 two-wheels on the grass, and it looks like that something's going to run around the pit wall.
Yeah.
Ash bails out to the right and just manages to take the win. I think it's just by about a 10 for a second. But that was brave from Jake.
Yeah, he's certainly committed. I'll give him that.
A bit borderline, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
From both.
Yeah.
So Sutton to push him. But then if you look as well, there's an extra half a car width that Hill doesn't want to use and starts turning right. And you sort of think, oh my God. I mean, it's risky because ultimately, if he keeps there and he's not past him by the finish line, he's in the pit lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bit sketchy, the whole thing. I mean, you want to see that fight, and it was exciting, but I wasn't sure it was necessary.
Yeah. Against someone else, maybe, but not Ash Sutton for his first win of the year.
Yeah.
He's not giving it up.
Yeah, mad that it's his first win.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's very clever in that he's chipped away even when he's not had the outright speed. And we were saying, was it at Croft, unfortunately, he was chipping away, but then was it suspension failure, and then that. So he didn't get the big points and then lost the points, but it still was in there, and now he's well and truly in the championship fight.
Totally. Ingram managed to make up to 4th. Try and recover his weekend.
Yeah, a bit subdued in qualifying. Maybe that's a hybrid thing or not. Probably. But really, really quick in the races. I know all the focus is on Sutton, but Ingram was driving, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point he closes up to the back of Turkington, but just drops away again.
Yeah.
But you thought once he was closing in that he might go for... Because Hill and Turkington were so close, they're holding each other up for a wee bit.
Yeah.
Maybe
But-
he loses tyres at that point.
Yeah.
Towards the end. But.
So, Ash Sutton's first win of the year, and he pulls out ball 7, I believe, which is...
Well, John Cullen did.
Yes, which is Mr. George Gamble, as he finished 7th.
Yes,
He
there was
did.
some joke in there, something about gambling with ball. I don't know. Too tired. But Gamble had an amazing battle with Butcher and was it Collard at one point in this race?
Mm.
I thought he was going to get hit off at one point. Butcher dived down the inside of backing tyres with a bit of contact, and I thought, but no, fair play, finished. It was good. Ahead of Jelly this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, real solid weekend. So he started on pole for race 3, the reverse grid. I didn't see his interview, but they were saying in commentary he was terrified before the start of the race.
Yeah. I think it was on the
Rabbit in
grid
the
when they
headlights.
interviewed him.
Yeah, it sounded okay, but yeah, clearly the adrenaline was flowing.
Pole, and he gets a great start. Ingram then tries to dive up the inside of McIntyre's and Shedden, but there's no space. Ingram touches the grass, and both of them are off. Shedden recovers, but is collected by Camish. Camish gets launched up in the air into 2 wheels. Not his fault. He gets launched into the air, breaks his suspension. Oh, a bit clumsy. What would you expect for race 3, though?
Yeah.
I thought
me-
Shedden's redrawing was a little weird.
It was a bit gill.
Insular joke. But
Yes.
what were you going to say otherwise? Like, whose fault is it going off? I thought it was Ingram a bit tough.
I actually believe Shedden pushed him onto the grass a little bit.
Ooh, really?
But there wasn't a lot of room to begin with. But I think there was a car's width there, but Shedden pushed him onto the grass slightly. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. I'm not saying it's Shedden's fault, but I don't think it was entirely Ingram.
Right. I mean,
Well, neither got picked up with his shirt,
Yeah.
so they obviously don't think it's worth looking at.
I did think it should have been a safety car with Camish's car off the track, though.
Yeah, they just left it there for the whole race.
Yeah. I know it was relatively safe, but it wasn't behind a barrier or anything, was it? All it takes
No.
is someone else to just drive into it.
It's race 3. Everyone's went home.
Yeah, they were like, not a
Yeah.
safety car. That might means we have to actually do some stewarding afterwards.
I know. Shocker, isn't it?
Oh, no, I got that wrong. That's terrible. But you know what I mean. It was something to do with that, isn't it? No safety cars in race 3. We're going home.
Yeah. So, next up, Osborne's then off. So he's out the points again.
Yeah.
Hill then runs away to the chicane and lets Sutton through for 4th.
There we go. Another
Again.
wide at the chicane. Yeah.
Butel then gets up the inside of Edwards at Clark's, but then there ends up being some contact and Jade's run off.
That was clumsy.
Yeah.
From Britell. But the commentary
Yeah.
thought it was Ingram, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for that. Because they kept cutting to Ingram overtaking there, and then it looked like another one, but it was Britell.
Yeah, I thought that was on Butel, to be
Yeah,
honest.
100%. Yeah.
Ran Jade off into gravel. Dexter Patterson then pits, so we'll lose a camera car.
Yeah, he was
Uh,
flagged, wasn't he? I don't know if it was bodywork or something. but
Oh, his front
the meat
splitter's
flagged.
loose. If you look a few laps earlier in the race, his front
Ah.
splitter's wobbling, and you can actually hear it on the camera. But you can't see it from the onboard shot. So I don't know how he got that. Maybe run across a gravel or a curb or something. But yeah, unfortunate. It's wobbling around.
Hill then gets back onto the rear end of Turkington, because I think Sutton takes Turkington at one point, doesn't he?
I'm not sure about Sutton taking Turkington, but he's
No,
ahead of Hill briefly and then falls straight back behind him again.
Yeah, Hill retakes Sutton almost immediately after taking the position from him.
And so then Hill catches up with Colin.
Yeah. And then Colin just lets him go through.
Oh, no, that was a bit annoying. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
That was. What does that say to Jake Hill for the rest of the year? You know. Oh,
Well,
yeah. Send it and I'll let it through.
my first thought on that was it was Turkington being a bit canny and thinking, let him through,
And get
see
butchered.
what happens ahead because there's going to be contact, etc. But it turns out it was an agreed radio call between the engineers, which I thought was a bit odd.
What did you say? There was an engineer call.
That's what he said afterwards, and he said he
Right.
wanted to thank Colin and his engineers for allowing him to go through.
Oh, that's mad. In touring cars, it's just basically unheard of.
Yeah, especially for two championship contenders.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I would have done that deal on the proviso that if he doesn't if we don't both get Butcher, he has to let me buy at the end again.
Mm.
You've got to do these negotiations in the race, haven't you? Right, I'll let him buy on the proviso that he lets me back buy if we don't make progress.
Yeah.
I wonder if Colin's expecting a favour back and whether he'll actually get it.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because do you remember when Colin got a favour off of, who was the other guy last year in the
Oliphant.
BMW? Oliphant. Yeah. Oliphant got asked to give one up and he never got it back the full year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good in principle, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I mean,
The give and take.
when people are that close in the championship points, how can you then say, "Oh, can you let him through?" It's
weird. That's whole. I didn't catch that. Well caught, and it's odd and a bit frustrating, especially because Butcher engaged full Boardman mode, or Chris Smiley mode, whichever, or Ada Moffat.
Yeah.
The mega defense.
Yeah. It's good defending. It's
absolutely. I would have done the same,
It's I know. It's effective. So he holds Jake off for a bit, but on lap 22, Jake manages to get him on the straight. Morgan was going great in race 1, but then all of a sudden gets to race 3 and race 2. He's not really got the pace anymore. McIntyre's, I think he loses 2 places. Ingram gets through and then Collard just follows through as well.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Ingram, but by the end of the race, wasn't he behind again? And I didn't see how or why.
I think he was. I think Ingram dropped back.
Yeah, he did.
He did drop back, but Adam was flying in race 1. But the rest of the races, he was just it was sat where he was.
Interesting one, that. Yeah, good point.
So then there's the off-camera incident between Collard and Alan Taylor-Smith, which gets Collard a 7.5 second penalty.
Yeah, that's strong, but I guess that just reverses their positions.
Oh, that could be why, yeah.
Does it? I don't know if it does or not. But
I'm not seeing much of Collard this year on TV.
No.
I was expecting a bit more.
I thought we had a good race 1 this weekend.
He did. And then fell backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ricky Collard was officially classified further behind, so there must have been a 7-second gap between them, so he must have biffed his way through and they've just reversed it.
Yeah, and there was also an incident off camera between Stephen Jelly and Josh Cook, and that'll be investigated at Snetterton.
Yes.
Jelly finished ahead of Cook, so I don't know. Weird one.
But obviously that had happened after the stewards had gone home again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who won the race, Nick?
I just find it ironic. We haven't actually mentioned him once in this race roundup from race 3, but it was our man Gamble.
Yeah.
Shows how good he was driving, though, in the race.
He was really good. I know he had a buffer with Butcher holding people up, but
yeah,
he didn't put a foot wrong. Yeah.
Well, he had to... Butcher was attacking in the early laps, so he had to hold him off and keep his nerve, and then after that, just brought it home.
Who was going to win their first race at Knockhill in the third race, and then Matt Neal overtook him at the end? It might have been Jake Hill or something, at one point. Anyway, Gamble could have easily crumbled and made that mistake.
Yeah.
But didn't. And he put in the solid laps. Yeah, pulled away, yeah. Did either of you see the weird incident with the nearly crash between Bobby Thompson and Plato at the final lap at the hairpin?
Yeah.
What the heck was that?
Because I couldn't see the beginning of it, but yeah, Plato was coming
It's the weirdest thing.
Right on the outside, straight across, wasn't he?
Plato's basically missed the corner.
Yeah.
He's gone to Edinburgh. And at the same time, Bobby Thompson's locked up coming in hot. And they nearly meet in the middle. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know why Plato's there, but I don't know what Thompson's doing either.
Must have missed that.
It's after the checkered flags phone and everything's like finished.
Right, okay.
And then the back markers, unfortunately, Plato's one of them, is they're trying to negotiate the hairpin and they get it both wrong. It's weird. Anyway, also good that Rocket and Rich Energy are still on the cars.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he did speculate they may be gone at some point.
Yeah,
but they're still here.
They're still here, but that is definitely all up in the air still, I think. But yeah, well done, George Gamble, from everybody on this podcast.
Correct.
And well done for Nick for shouting him out as a good talent. Is that? Did you do that?
Ish. Ash Hand was actually the one that I called out as being my potential star. I did say I think Gamble will do well, but it was mostly his race number that intrigued me.
42.
Yeah, that's my.
Is that your number?
That's always my number.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Ash Hand's not done much this year, has he, so far?
He had a couple of really good races,
Mm.
and then that's been it.
It's always been a bit weird as well with some incidents and stuff.
Mm.
But it's a learning curve. He seems to qualify
Yeah,
right
yeah.
next to Crease, and they're like
Yeah,
stuck together, aren't they? Like Siamese Astras.
yeah.
On to the points. We've got Turkington now leads the championship, so all his safe driving's worked a bit. He's 5 points ahead of Ingram, 6 ahead of Sutton, and Hill is 14 back.
Mm.
Right in it, still. But Josh
Right
Cook,
in it.
very mediocre weekend. And
Yeah.
he's still in it, but he did come out before the weekend, even that we might as well throw away the championship now, complaining about the straight line speed.
Well, he's 23 points
True.
behind, and we still have 3 races at Fruxton to go.
Ah, yeah, good point.
So there's still every chance that Josh could come back just in that one weekend alone.
Yeah.
It's still 5 for the championship at this point.
There is. But if he's not good at Snetterton, even the great Thruxton doesn't put him ahead, does it? And then you've got Silverstone National, which is all about straight line speed.
Yeah. Well, none of the Vauxhalls seemed Vauxhalls. Did I say Vauxhall? I meant Honda.
But yeah.
None of the Hondas were any good at Knockhill, really. Shedden had one good race, I think,
He was okay in the races, wasn't he? Yeah.
but none of the others.
Matt Neal came out afterwards and said it's a qualifying formula now. And I was thinking, well, it probably should be that, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Bring back the soft tyre.
No, just bring
Just
just more hybrid effectiveness. Because you're right, the ballast was a bit more effective.
Yeah. Yeah, it's intriguing, though, the points at this point of the year. Just to be top 3, is it? 6 points.
Yeah, and a mix of cars and teams. So then, that's a successful formula, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
BMW, Hyundai, Ford, BMW, Honda,
then Toyota.
then a Toyota. Yeah. But Cook's the only Toka engine car in that top 5 of note, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do to help those cars.
Yeah, you have to be a bit more boost. I guarantee it. Before the next round. And then all of a sudden you see Team Hard win the race and everyone goes, it's gone too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Goff will win a race somehow.
Is that, he'll come back for one round.
Oh, I miss Jack off.
I'm
Jack
over him.
Sears. All right, you're over him now. Jack Sears, we stopped paying attention to, I think, because Bobby Thompson was well ahead, but George Gamble's suddenly caused back in. He's only 5 points
Yeah.
behind.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Josh Cooks, I think, still miles away in Independence. And then the Wingfoot Award.
The most important one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, 7 points between Tuckington and Hill at the top.
Both
And
BMWs.
Both BMWs. And next up is Snetterton, 13th, 14th of August.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's a funny track, isn't it?
Mm.
I'm undecided if I like it or not.
I'm the same, I'm never sure.
If there's a good race, fine, but do I like the track? Do you know what? I didn't like the old variant, but this new one makes you think about the old one.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that.
I was always like a pretty poor track, and now I'm like, can't we just go with the old one
Yeah, it's just
without that
that
middle
middle
bit?
bit is not particularly inspiring, is it?
No, it's not.
Mm.
It doesn't need that full loop. It could have done with an expansion middle bit, but maybe a slightly different design. I'm not sure. Anyway, like I say, if it's a good race, happy days.
So, you guys will be back with that in
Oh yeah,
2 weeks' time, or a week and a half time.
enjoy your trip
Yes.
Thank you.
to
Enjoy your
Canadian
Snetterton.
land, whatever it's called.
Yes.
Canada.
Yeah, Canada. I've just missed the IndyCar. The IndyCar was at Toronto 3 weeks ago.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that would have been a good one to go to. But, yep, so I'll leave you I'll leave the listeners in your capable hands in 2 weeks' time.
Oh God. Apologies in advance.
Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks you guys for joining again.
No worries. An epic.
Epic 2-night recording session as well.
Indeed.
And there's an update from what you've heard in the start of this episode.
Yes, things
looks
are evolving.
McLaren have apparently officially entered contract negotiation with Ricciardo to basically get rid of him for next year.
More money than you can possibly imagine.
Yes.
I hope.
Oh, if they're going to kick Daniel out, I hope he gets paid.
Oh, it better be. Yeah.
And I hope he gets a nice big contract when he goes back to Renault.
Yeah. It better
what's
be,
the two?
I would say, can I have a McLaren F1 road car, please? Because what are they worth these days? 30 mil?
Something like
And
that.
they're only going to go up? Yeah. I'll have one of them, please. Thanks.
Yeah, so there's only 2 seats left, isn't there? Alpine and Williams, really.
Sort of. Depends on who Alpine take if they decide not to take Ricciardo.
Yeah,
see.
I suppose. I did see today that Alonso's apparently eyeing up a Mercedes seat. That's why he's went to Aston Martin. I was like, come on, stop at F1 Twitter. Stop at F1
That's
News.
hilarious.
That's just nonsense.
That's hilarious.
That's nonsense.
It's a sort of deluded rubbish Alonso would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, thank you everyone, and we'll see you
Have a
soon.
good one.
Nice one. See ya.